How many soulmates do we have? This is a question I got from a patron of mine. A patron is somebody who's following me on Patreon and is contributing monthly. And this allows the person to actually get access weeks or some months ahead, certain information, or get access to information that's literally only available on Patreon, like the energy at play for the coming 6 days, which can help you to ride the wave of your life. So let's dive into how many soulmates do we have? This is a very interesting question, and the answer is not going to be what you expect. So stay tuned. Like, subscribe, and share. Hi, my name is Lotfi, and this is a Q&A video. And today's question is, how many soulmates do we actually have? Yeah. I had to do some research to explain my theory. And the thing with theories is that sometimes it just comes to you. It's not something you sit for, you make a calculation, and then you say, okay, according to my calculations, now this is a theory. A theory is intuition based. Otherwise, scientists call it a fact if they have calculated it. But I needed to make a calculation to actually help understand my theory. And the key word that I finally found that helped me is the kissing number. And actually it's a nice name, because generally we want to kiss our soulmates. We want to hug them, we love them, or we don't, because we cannot see why they're annoying us so much. We cannot see that they're actually helping us to learn crucial life lessons. So first of all, what is a soulmate? The soulmate is, from my perspective, and this is not something that I invented, I've picked it up somewhere and just clicked. So back in 2015, I believe it was 2015, I had a regression session, and it was the life between lives, that one. So not going to a previous life, but just life between lives. And there I saw my soul tribe, the ones with whom I agreed who would help me and who I would be helping in this lifetime. And after that, we are all incarnated in different locations, different dates, and yeah. And we started to show up in each other's lives. Sometimes being a total pain in the ass, sometimes being the best friend, sometimes just popping up, teaching us something valuable, and then moving on again. And back in 2013, I believe, 2012, 2013, a friend of mine shared with me a vision she had about how she saw herself expanding, her energetic body expanding, to envelope the whole universe, the whole existence, which was basically the consciousness becoming one with universal consciousness. And I'm not talking about the universe, just the universe that we live in, but there are theories about the multiverse, and there are so many different dimensions that we theoretically know they're there, or we assume that they're there, but not having been able to measure something yet doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Like the Earth was round before we could actually determine that it was round. And the Earth was going around the Sun before we could even determine that. But we always saw the Sun coming one side and going the other side, so it looked like the Sun was going around the Earth. So, so having seen that, so when I heard my friend telling me that, I could actually see it, I felt it. And then I went deeper. At a certain moment I felt that we have the Big Bang Theory that we know, which scientists are now debating again. And I believe Big Bang does exist, and that several are happening and happened and will be happening. But when it comes to souls, at least the souls that we have here on Earth, because that's what we talk about here, Earth, our reality. If we pay attention, we see that there is the human consciousness, there is the global consciousness. We hear these words regularly. And that's for a reason, because we are all connected. And the more we start to pay attention to ourselves, within ourselves, and to the world around ourselves, we start to see how everything is connected. And so I believe there was a consciousness that, just like the Big Bang said, kaboom! And that consciousness you could see as little spheres, at one big ball of little spheres, that, and all those spheres dispersed. Maybe spheres split up in smaller spheres, and those are all the souls, all the consciousnesses, yes, I think so, that we see on Earth. Because we have proven that we can keep rice healthy or destroy it when it's mixed with water and we talk to it. We say nice things or bad things. Many people have experienced that if they talk nicely to their plants, that the plants grow better. Or when they sit and send energy to the plant, their plants actually grow better. You also can see that sometimes people who are very negative, that plants in their homes start to die. That there is a bad smell. That deterioration on many levels is happening. Just like when we are a mess on the inside, then our life also becomes a mess. We're not becoming a mess on the inside because our life is a mess. No, our life is a mess because we're a mess inside. Because we're hurt, so we react in certain ways, so we start to attract certain things, we start to not being able to see certain things. And quantum physics has already proven this, that the observer is influencing what he's observing. And that's with light, waves and particles, for example. So to answer the question how many soulmates we have, I feel that what we call soulmates are those spheres that were around us. Your sphere had plenty of spheres around it. My sphere had plenty of spheres around it. Maybe I'm one of the spheres that are around you, and you're actually one of the spheres that are around me. Because there are so many spheres in that huge, big sphere, space, whatever it is. That bag of spheres, so you can see it like beads. And The kissing number for spheres in 3D is 12. In 2D, it's 6. So if you take identical spheres, I'm assuming they're identical spheres, you take identical spheres and you put other spheres around it, you have 6. If you go 3D, you have 12. If you go 2D, you have one in front, one behind, if you have just the line. But then, if the spheres are not the same size, the numbers completely change. Or if we go past 3D, we go to 4D, 5D, 6D. A lot of people have been talking about skipping 4D now and we go directly to 5D, but there is 12D, and there's a 12D grid around the Earth, and we don't know how many dimensions there are. But I will include in the video, you probably already saw the pictures. If I edited it properly, you would have seen the pictures when I talked about 1D, 2D, 3D. But you should be seeing now on your screen, and this is just for identical spheres, the numbers, depending on the dimensions. And it's really an interesting question, because I could also add a question on top of that, because the question is actually way too vague. No criticism here, because it's just like, you can go so many directions, because the question didn't include in which number of dimensions, or which dimension, like the fourth, the fifth, the third, or what do you see as a soulmate? Is a soulmate one that stays in your life for a long time? For a long period of time I felt like, yeah, it's like rings. So if you have one sphere, there are 12 around it, but then there's a bigger number around those 12. And they're still very close. So if you look like at gravity, for example, or electromagnetism, there's still influence, there's still connection between the one in the middle and the second layer, the third layer, maybe the fourth layer, maybe these like 10 layers of influence. Just look at how far away planets can be and they still influence us. Or even stars, very far away, can still influence us. Our own stars, like really far away, and it's influencing us. So how do you define soulmates? I'm 48 years old now, and I can see how my perception of the world is evolving. It's like the older I get, the taller I get, so the better overview I get. The bigger my overview becomes, the bigger the field becomes when I can see from above. And that's not per se age related, it's more like life experience related. Awareness, actually, it's awareness related. And if I would have only 12 soulmates, then who would they be? My parents? My first love? My first woman of my life? Maybe the second time I felt that person, or was it my best friend at primary school, at the one at secondary school, or the one after that, or my best friend today? And who's my best friend? Or okay, then I have actually a few best friends, but I mean, and the people that are my best friends now, the people I met since 2012. So, because 2012 I had a big shift in my life. But what if I have another big shift in my life? Will I then consider those people who will then be my best friend? who may be completely different people, or a few will stay and then other new people will come. I do not know what will happen. So who are my soulmates? Maybe just like the movement of Earth in space, which is like this, because the Earth is going around the Sun and the Sun is moving, but the Sun is also going around the galactic center, and then the galaxy is also moving, so you get this, you see? So every time we move in space, this is a shitty sentence. So while moving, because I need the word time somewhere. So while we're moving through space and time, assuming we are just in our physical reality that we can see now, we are in a different position compared to the Sun, for example, because we go around the Sun, but also compared to the galactic center, which they assume is a big black hole in the middle of the Milky Way, but also compared to the known universe, the visible known universe. And so the space that we are in is constantly different. I don't know, this is getting very scientific, but I will look for a picture that will include, you will see that, because we're constantly somewhere else, but we also, because we're turning, we're also looking at something else. So technically, when you looked at the sky yesterday and you look at the sky tonight, you will be looking into a different direction. Maybe you see the same stars and they seem to be in the same spot. Maybe some of them are, but that's just the galaxy. But the galaxy moved already in space. And this is why stagnation is death. Stagnant water starts to go bad, starts to rotten, but the river doesn't stink unless somebody threw shit in it. Because in the river the water is flowing, energy is flowing. You are not the same person as you were yesterday. Physically you have already changed because you took new nutrients and you released other materials. Your skin is constantly changing. Your cells are constantly changing. When I take a sip of my tea now, I'm contributing to that change because new water with nutrients, with anise seeds, is coming into my system. And that's gonna do something in my body. Well, earlier today I released already fluids. So water is gone, new water is coming in with new energy. And in life, people come and go. And I like to make the analogy that we're in a train, we're traveling, and then people hop on, and some just stay for one stop, and some stay, they get out 10 stops later. And this is what's happening in life. You come and they go. And everyone comes and goes. Even if you marry and you say till death does us part, well, death will do you part. So it's going to happen. You dying, the other person dying, maybe divorce, maybe end of a relationship, maybe end of a friendship, maybe moving to another country, maybe having a lockdown that's just keeping you from meeting your friends. So I know it was a curiosity question, but I know that behind that curiosity question there was like, so how many people are out there? Maybe the question was triggered by, wow, I I have these certain people on my path, and I'm so happy with them, and wow, my life just got enriched. And how many more can come on my path? Or those people, they used to be my soulmates, but I lost them. Gee, that's hurtful. And do I still have the chance to meet some new ones? I mean, are there some left? Well, yes. And yes on both questions. Because of our constant motion, because of us constantly drinking water and releasing some water, there is refreshment. Especially when we choose to actually learn from life, we choose to evolve, to grow our awareness. Doesn't mean that we will know everything. Become more aware, which is following the path that we set to follow this lifetime. Then we will keep having new experiences, we will keep meeting new people. And some people stay really long, and some people just fade away because they taught us what we needed to learn, and then other people will come and teach us the new stuff that we need in that new level. Doesn't mean we'll forget the other ones, doesn't mean we don't love them anymore, but they will be not that present in our lives anymore. And yeah, maybe we will hate somebody for a while because I was really a pain in the butt, did something nasty. But actually that something nasty led to us having that experience, learning from it, and maybe having to make certain choices which open new doors. Like when you lose your job, can seem like the end of the world. Like I heard that this guy who's losing his job after 30 years now because of some bullshit rules and the fear and whatever, so they're just firing him, and the guy's like and it's not even that the guy will not have money, but after 8 years being in one job, I had no clue what I actually could do. Aside from that job, aside from that company, because actually I knew already I didn't want to do the same things. I didn't want to go to the competitor and do the same crap, because I was so done with it. But I had no clue what actually I could do. So imagine after 30 or 40 years, well, that's like a reset. And you know, with your computer, sometimes it's the best thing to do to press that reset button and it starts up, and then, oh yeah, new start, and everything is clean again. Or like after cleaning your home properly, throwing away all the rubbish, and you look and, I feel peace and calmness, and now I can actually decide what I want to do. Doesn't mean it's not tough sometimes, but when we let go of the fear, we are just open to new experiences, and sky is not even the limit. Sky is where it actually all really starts. So I hope that this video did answer a deeper question that you had. Not just, how many soulmates do I have? Hey, interesting facts. Well, this is not a fact video. Maybe I should change the introduction. Maybe you already have seen the new introduction. Hey, you see how time is not linear. Because I can just record another introduction and stick it at the beginning for the video editing, so I'm actually time traveling. Now I seriously hope that this video helps you to take a little new step of awareness, and more importantly that it encourages you to be open to new experiences, to new people, to new life lessons, and it will help you on your journey. I enjoy this kind of questions when I receive them, because they put me to contemplate to look back at everything I've learned and like, okay, do I actually have an answer to this? No. Okay. Wow, this is even better. Actually, I'm gonna learn something new while contemplating. So this was actually a real life contemplation. I had a quick, short thinking before. I did the research to find those pictures, and then I just started, and I had no clue what I would be talking about. I just had a small idea, and then it just happened. So this was a live contemplation. That's why I need to go back and actually adjust. No, actually I will not do that. I will not go and adjust the intro. I will just leave it the way it is. I'm not going to travel back in time and change the past. I trust that everything is happening for a very good reason. I may not just be able to see it yet. Hey, that's a subject for another video. Did I already record something about that? I know I mentioned it in some videos, but maybe I should do a dedicated video on this. But I have another question. Also from this patron. This patron really has been sending me questions that challenge me, and I love that. So if you have a challenging question, or just something that you didn't manage to figure out, feel free to send it to me. Direct message, as a comment, or email me, whatever. And I'll see what I can do. Wish you a wonderful day or evening, whatever the hour is that you're watching this, and hopefully see you in the next video. Like, subscribe, and share.